We are here in the conference room of the Country Music Foundation or Hall of Fame with a country music icon, Don Gibson, Donald Eugene Gibson.
That's right.
Nicknamed Snake.
That's right.
Why?
I don't know. When I was little, my teeth were separated in front, and since getting a little money and coming up here, I had it fixed.
So you looked a little like a snake to some people?
Yeah. We all had nicknames when we was kids, and they nicknamed me that.
So how old were you?
Oh, I don't know, 17, 18.
I thought you meant little kid. Oh, this is when you were a teenager.
Yeah.
Was this in Shelby, North Carolina?
Yeah, Shelby, North Carolina.
How did you get from Shelby to Knoxville?
Well, I was in my hometown, and I knew I had to do something to get out of Shelby or not do it at all. And a friend of mine found this job in Knoxville, WNOX, in a Tennessee barn dance. So he called, and they wanted to hear me audition. So I went up and auditioned when I was about 17. And I thought maybe they wouldn't hire me with a band if I was 17, so I moved it up to 20 till I was 21. Anyway, I started there and was there about 6 years, I guess, before I come over to Grand Ole Opry.
You came to the Opry, what, 58?
58, I believe it was.
When you sang "Oh Lonesome Me."
Yeah.
I was there that night. Tore the house down.
Yeah.
In fact, I wasn't a Grand Ole Opry announcer yet. I became one in '61. But anyway, I was doing the all-night show. But I knew you were going to be there, so I went down. I just went down to see the crowd reaction and watch you sing.
Yeah.
And you killed him. Was that your first time you were ever on the Opry?
Yeah. Right.
Debuted with "Oh Lonesome Me."
Yeah.
In fact, I met you with Wesley at an Everly Brothers record session.
Yeah.
I think they were doing "All I Have to Do Is Dream."
Yeah.
And they did it and did it and did it till they were sick of it. I think they did about 35 times. And the next day, Archie Blyer, who was their A&R man, left and went back to New York, and Wesley picked out take 13, and that was the one that became the hit. Don, how many record labels were you on prior to RCA?
I think I was on MGM, I believe it was.
Now, you had Sweet Dreams on MGM, didn't you?
Yeah, right.
But didn't you make some records for Columbia?
Yeah, one time.
What was the first label you were ever on?
RCA.
Did you make some records?
No, I'm sorry, Mercury.
Was that with Murray Nash?
Yes.
And Murray had an office in Knoxville.
I don't know about that, but it was in Murray Nash.
Was he your A&R man?
Yeah.
What'd you sing?
I forgot now what I was saying. I can't remember right.
Well, were you singing songs that early that you had written?
No.
Were you singing other people's songs?
Yeah, I didn't write anything till I got to Knoxville.
You, seems like I remember you recorded for Mercury, then for Columbia, and then you got with Wesley, and he put you on MGM, and then you went to RCA. Is that
right?
Is that about right?
Yeah.
He was on RCA twice.
Were you on RCA twice?
Yeah.
Steve Schultz cut him once, early on.
When was
that?
that?
That was at WSOC in Charlotte, North Carolina.
When what'd you cut for Steve?
A tune called "I Love No One But You," and on the backside it had a fiddle and banjo tune. I didn't sing on both sides, just on one side.
Oh, there's an instrumental on the back.
Yeah, right.
That's a pretty rare record.
Yeah.
Did you get any airplay on any of that old stuff?
No, not to my knowledge.
There was one thing I was wanting to have you talk to him about. Remember Murray told us that he tried to get Don to be a solo artist back when he recorded him with Sons of the Soil, and you wouldn't give up your band.
Yeah.
The Sons of the Soil?
Yeah.
Was that one of your first bands?
Yeah.
And did they want to make you a solo artist and you turned it down?
Yeah, that was kind of it. Yeah. I wanted the lead sing, and they wanted a trio. And we had a good trio. It was wrote up in the Billboard, a la Sons of the Pioneers.
Okay. What did you sing? Cool Water and
No, we sang some things that some writers had put together. I forget now what. A song called "The Color Song," and they never got nowhere.
Well, now, and you guys were telling me that there was a connection between you clear back to that band, right?
Oh, Curly.
Yeah.
No.
Her uncle, even though they didn't get married for years, years.
Bobby's uncle had a band?
He was in our band.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Bobby, are you from Shelby? Okay. Were you and Bobby, did you know each other when you were kids?
Yeah.
The families knew one.
Oh, okay. Took you a while to
My oldest brother married his niece, his oldest brother's niece.
okay, wait a minute. Your oldest brother
Married Don's oldest brother's daughter.
married Don's oldest brother's daughter.
My brother married his niece.
Your brother married
niece.
Don's niece.
See, she's a little younger than I am.
Okay.
About 12 years.
Well, that's my wife and I are 14 years different.
Yeah.
I was telling Bobby yesterday. I said, "Well, we've been married 32 years too. I finally figured it out. I figured out how to get it right." I know, it took you a while too, didn't it?
Yeah, right.
Don, I guess when you met Wesley Rose, that was the real start of your career, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was working in a nightclub there in Alcoa, Tennessee. That's right outside of Knoxville. And Mel Forey, you remember Mel?
Yes,
Forey?
I do.
Well, Mel Forey used to come by there and he'd bring his wife. And then one night Wesley was over in Maryville at some kind of a convention of some kind. And he said, "Let's go out and have a beer." And Mel said, "Well, good, let's go down to where Don's picking." And of course, he said, "Don who?" And he said, "Don Gibson." He said, "Well, we'll go down there then." So they came down, and I was singing. I had just written "Sweet Dreams," and I was singing it, and Mel come up to me and said, "He wants you to sing it again." So I did, and after that, he went me over to the table, where he was sitting, and he said, "That's a good song." Said, "I'd like to publish it." And I said, "Well, you can have the song if you'll take me with it." And he said, "Well, I don't know about that." And I said, "Well, I don't know about that. You having the song then." And so he came back to Nashville and got me a record contract with MGM. That's when I was singing like Webb Pierce. Or trying to, that was the style, and that's what they wanted out of me. Either I sound like Eddie Arnold or Webb Pierce.
So you had a hard time finding Don Gibson.
Yeah, that's right.
Was Webb one of your idols?
No.
Did you try to sing like him because you just thought it was commercial?
Yeah, that's what they said, and I kept telling them I'd like to sing in my own voice, and they said, "No, we can't take that chance right now. You're an unknown, and so we want to record you, but we want to record something that's big, the style that's big now." So if it'd been Red Foley or somebody like that, I wouldn't have minded that.
Did you sing "Wondering" and "There Stands the Glass" and
No,
stuff like that?
No.
You didn't sing any of his songs?
I know I didn't. I just sang high.
Okay. Tell me about writing "Sweet Dreams."
Sweet Dreams was wrote in Whittle Springs, over in Knoxville, Tennessee. They had a barn dance in Tennessee, barn dance which was downtown, but it was dilapidated, and they decided to move the whole thing out to a place called Whittle Springs, and they built a new studio. And so I was there. I played bass for the band, and I also played lead guitar. And so one day I wasn't doing anything, so I went downstairs. It was real cool down there. It's been in the summertime, and I went downstairs and started writing a tune called "Sweet Dreams." And I didn't know why I was writing. I just started writing it, and I wasn't thinking of anything in particular. That's what came to me, and I liked it pretty well. In fact, and today I think it's one of the prettiest songs I wrote, especially when Patsy sings it.
I think other than your record, the first record of that I ever heard was Farron.
Yeah.
He had a good record of that.
Well, Pierce came by the nightclub I was playing over there. A place called Esslingers.
Called the what?
Esslingers.
Okay.
And Webb called me over the table and asked me about Sweet Dreams. And I told him, he said, well, you know, I'd cut that thing myself, but I just come out with one. But I know that Farron has got to come out with one, and it'd be great for him. I said, well, that's okay. That's fine with me. So he cut that too.
When did Farron do Sweet Dreams?
Well, let's see.
You did. Your record came out. Your MGM record of that came out in '56, and let me just trot over here to Farron's page, and I used to play that a lot by Farron. Yeah, it was number 2 according to this in it was June 23rd of '56. It debuted. Actually, according to this, Farron had it out before you did on MGM.
Yeah.
And then the other, I guess the other major record was Patsy Cline.
On Sweet Dreams, yeah.
And I tell you, a killer record of that was by Reba McEntire.
I've never heard it.
I know she sings it in her show. I'm just assuming she put it out. I heard her sing it live on the road.
A cappella?
Yeah.
I heard that, but I never heard her do it.
Boy, I'll see if she's got a recording of that I can get for you.
Okay. Did she do it with music?
No, she did it a cappella. I tell you, the night we had a show for her band when her band got killed, we had a show which I emceed, a major show down at the Municipal Auditorium for the survivors.
Yeah.
And we didn't know whether Reba was going to come or not. But she did, and she got herself together and came. And she wanted to sing that because that's what she was singing when it was the last song she did with that old band that got killed.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she sang it a cappella that night, and man, you could feel the chill all over the auditorium.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find a record or a recording of
yeah.
that. But Patsy, and then Patsy had that as the title of her movie.
Yeah.
So I imagine Sweet Dreams is a pretty good little piece for you. How many people have recorded that?
I don't know. I never counted that. We counted I Can't Stop Loving You one time about 10 years ago. And back then had been recorded over 1,500 times. And that didn't count the ones who had recorded over on another label, you know.
I imagine you have a lot of foreign records of that, don't you?
I'm amazed at that song.
Is that your most recorded copyright?
Yeah.
Let's go to Old Lonesome Me. I understand that the original title, I think you told me this one time, the original title was Old Lonesome Me.
Yeah.
How'd that get changed?
I don't know. Somehow between Knoxville and Nashville.
What do you sing? Do you sing O or Old?
Oh.
Are you sing O-L-E? You sing O-H, okay. Tell me about writing that song.
Well, I wrote that song in Knoxville out in a trailer park. I had a house trailer, and I was losing everything. They'd come and got my TV, and I don't know, I was very despondent, and I was back. I took a coat hanger and hung it up and put the microphone on a coat hanger, and I started singing "Hold On to Me." And I don't when I write, or when I did write my biggest songs, I never thought ahead of what I was doing. I didn't think it wasn't experience, you know. I didn't say, oh, I've lost so and so, I'm gonna write "Hold On to Me" or "I Can't Stop Loving You." It wasn't that. I just wrote what I thought sounded good.
So you weren't like Hank Cochran, who used to have all those romances and they would fall apart and then he'd write a hit song.
Yeah. I ain't seen Hank in a long time.
Have a lot of people cut Old Lonesome Me?
Oh, yeah.
Well, while we're into this, tell me about writing I Can't Stop Loving You.
Well, I wrote that in the same day.
As Old Lonesome Me?
Yeah. You know, it's been so long ago, I say that, and then I think to myself, am I lying? Did I do them both on the same day? And I get to thinking about, yeah, I did, because I told it from the very beginning. And so I wrote them both the same day. Nobody was around. And I was going to send the song.
Were you in the trailer?
Yeah. I was going to send, in fact, I did send the song down to Nashville for George Jones. And when I got to Nashville to do Can't Stop Loving You, Chet had heard both of them, and he said, no, you're going to do Old Lonesome Me. So I did.
I always wondered about why Chet chose to put out those two strong songs at the same time.
Yeah, one on one side, one on the
Yeah,
other.
why he didn't save?
He never told me.
You know, we interviewed Kitty Wells for this book recently, and Johnny Wright said that he got in trouble with Chet because they got hold, apparently through Wesley, they got hold of your recording before it came out. Chet had let Wesley have an acetate of I Can't Stop Loving You, and he turned around and pitched it to Kitty Wells, and the Kitty Wells got I Can't Stop Loving You out before you did.
Yeah, yeah. Well, see, I was on the back side, Lonesome Me on one side, and I was on the back
Right,
side.
I understand.
But they only played my Lonesome Me was a hit by me, and I Can't Stop Loving You never started getting big until Charles got a hold of it.
Ray Charles.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet Ray Charles?
Never met him. I talked to him on the phone.
I have, maybe I ought to get that for you too. I have a wonderful description of that song by Ray Charles. I interviewed him, and he was talking about what a powerful lyric that was, and how the song happened to hit him. You know, he picked all those songs himself for that first incursion into country music that he did, and he's done about 5 of your songs, hasn't he?
Yeah.
What's he done? I know he did Old Lonesome Me.
Hey, Don't Lonesome Me, a tune called Who Cares.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
All I can think of when
Did he do Legend in My Time?
No, but I asked him to.
What did he say?
He said, I don't know. So that's Ronnie Mills type of songs. I don't want to mess with that, I don't think.
Okay, biggest copyright is I Can't Stop Loving You?
Yes.
Second biggest, Sweet Dreams?
Sweet Dreams. Yeah, that's right. Second is Old Lonesome Me.
Okay, and then Sweet Dreams?
Then Sweet Dreams. Then
Legend?
Legend of My Time, yeah.
Well, I got to ask you this. You've written so doggone many songs. Were any of them inspired by events in your life?
No, I don't think there were at that time. I just wrote something that I thought was good and was country and was real. And
well, you know what surprises me a little bit, Don? Here you are. You're in a trailer in Knoxville. You've lost about everything. You had every reason to be blue.
yeah,
to have the blues, be down in the dumps.
right.
I'm surprised that didn't inspire something.
Well, it could have. I also wrote Blue Blue Day when I was in the same trailer.
You know, they say writers reveal themselves in their songs, and I can see why, if they've taken away most of your possessions and you're sitting there in the trailer, I guess worrying about how you're going to pay the rent,
That's right.
why you wouldn't write a blues song.
yeah.
Lonesome number 1. Were you lonesome?
Yeah, I guess I was. I was lonesome and down, man.
Who wrote Funny, Familiar, Forgotten Feelings?
Mickey Newberry.
Okay. Yeah, I figured you'd run into Mickey Newberry being at Acuff Rose.
You know, that's a guy that I think should have always been a hit. I still think he had a good voice, right sounding voice, and I don't know why he didn't click.
I don't know why the career never became bigger. He did write some pretty songs. You don't listen to the radio, do you?
No.
Never have.
No, I listen to easy music on.
But you never have listened to the radio.
No.
You don't read the trade papers, do you?
No.
Never looked at the charts.
No.
Why? See,
I get mad because I don't see my name there.
well, I mean, I'm talking about over a long period of time, Don. There was a time when you dominated the charts.
Yeah, but I never did buy those things. I never did go into it like a lot of people love the stage and like to be out there, and
That's that always was a question in my mind. As shy as you are, why in the world did you want to get into show business?
Well, I like to sing, and show business. I didn't think. I don't. I guess I didn't think about being on stage or traveling like that. I was shy and stayed that way. That's one of the reasons I drank and take pills when I first started. Afraid to go out on stage, like give me encouragement. It also done an awful lot of damage to me. And for anybody that's taking them, don't quit before you get like me. Bad feet.
How is your health?
My health, it's good. Uh, I've had some trouble out of my hip.
Did you have a hip replacement?
Yes, I had one replaced, and that was 9 years ago. And I was told then by the doctor that somewhere on down the line I would have to have another one because it was infected just like the one that he replaced. And so about a month ago, my hip started bothering me. I said, well, it looks like it's come true. So I made an appointment and went to see this doctor. And he said, after x-ray and everything, he said, you're suffering probably from arthritis and bursitis, but you don't have no cracked hip. And I thought, it had me scared all them years I was going to get it. And when I did get a pain down there, it was arthritis or bursitis.
What's wrong with your feet?
I got something called peripheral neuropathy.
Can you put that in plain English?
Well,
Nerve damage?
nerve damage.
In which part of the foot?
On both feet, all over.
Is it in the arch or where is it?
It's all over.
The whole foot?
Whole foot.
Too much alcohol?
Yeah. I drank beer for a long time.
John, I remember when you used to call, you'd go down the road. See, I have this feeling that you've spent a lot of lonely time in your life. You used to go on the road, and at all hours of the night, you would call your friends in this business. I know because they've told me. They say, Don Gibson called me at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Just looking for company.
That's right.
Because I said, what do you want? He said, they just said he just wanted to talk.
That's all. I'll be out there. I lived on the road, just stayed out there because I had no domestic life, and there was no reason for me to come back home. And so I just stayed out there. Stay in one motel, until my next date.
And just call all your friends.
And call all my friends.
What happened to your band one time in Memphis? I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
I've forgotten that story.
Well, we was playing so many show dates, they just got road happy. They couldn't do anything but just ride and look, and stay on the road, and they wanted something to do that would excite them. And they done something to excite them. They shot glass windows out and going through Memphis. They had these slingshots with these steel balls, and they would go and there's somebody else doing that too at the same time, incidentally. I won't say who, but they were doing it at the same time. And one night, I got a call from Memphis, and they said, "Are you Don Gibson?" I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "Well, we got 3 of your boys over here. They caught them on the other side of the bridge going out of Memphis into Arkansas." And said they've shot window glasses out, and they're in a lot of trouble. I thought to myself, I better get up and go over there and see what I can do. So I called Dick Frank. I was talking about going over. He said, "No, you're not." He said, "That's all they want. They'll throw you right in the jail with them." And I said, "Well, I need to do something." He said, "Just leave it in the hand of the law and us, the attorneys. That's all you can do." So they got some influential people that they knew. Kaz Walker, for one of them, over in Knoxville. And I don't know who else they got, but they got everything they could to get them off as lightly as they could. And the lightest they could get off was 6 months. So they spent 6 months over in Memphis.
Who was in that band in those days?
Junior Husky and Sonny Burnett.
I know those guys.
Yeah, and Tommy Williams.
You know Tommy?
Yeah.
That's bass, steel, and fiddle.
Yeah. Yeah, and well, Tommy was playing lead guitar.
Was he?
Yeah.
My mind's going in many different directions. Ray Charles did "Don't Tell Me Your Troubles."
Yeah, that's right.
I got troubles of my own.
Yeah.
I remember he did that. So you didn't get any trouble in Memphis,
No. I almost did one.
but the guys had to serve 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months, and could have got 6 years.
So I guess you had to form another band.
No. That's when I decided to disband and go with just one guitar player, and quit traveling by car or limousine or bus. I never did have a bus. So
Did Wesley not want you to have a bus?
Wesley didn't want me to have anything.
What do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean by that, staying at home and writing songs. He didn't want me on the road.
Oh, okay. Well, you could make more money for Wesley if you wrote more songs.
That's right.
But most people write songs and sing, write them on the
Ride
road.
them on the road,
Yeah.
right. And he seemed to want to, well, he just didn't want me to be out there. And there were things that happened that I never could understand why he would, like right here at the Country Music Hall of Fame. They had a show in Washington where they had Ray Charles, Ronnie Millsap, they had all of them, and they were singing my songs. They didn't invite me. And I got very upset about that and got mad enough one day to write, what's her name used to be here? Joe Walker. I wrote her and told her what I thought. I said, elephants will be nesting in trees before I do anything for the Country Music Association.
Very strange. You know, I'm going to tell you something. Maybe Chet told you this. You know what Chet told me? He said if I know this is a terrible thing to think about. He said if Don Gibson had died young, he would have been as big as Hank Williams.
Is that right?
And of course, he obviously Chet loved your songwriting,
Yeah.
and that's been the core of your career. Did you ever meet Hank Williams?
Yeah, I met him once.
Where'd you meet him?
I met him up at WSM. You know when I used to do Friday Night Frolics?
Mm-hmm.
I was over here with Mel Forey, and met him one night, and he was going to do a show. And I was sitting about where I'm sitting now. He was sitting there, and he wasn't feeling much pain. I don't know what he was on, which is all right with me. But he wanted to borrow a pen, and I was the only one that had a pen at that time, and I just stuck it. I handed it to him, and he scribbled out something, I don't know what. When he got through, he just threw it at me. He didn't say thank you or nothing, he just threw it at me. And that's how I met him. That's the incident.
So this was a long time before you came to work at WSM, though.
Yeah. I think Hank Williams was a good person when he wasn't sober. I don't know.
Who are some of your favorite singers and songwriters?
Today?
Yeah, I'm talking about of all time.
Oh.
When you were young, who'd you used to listen to?
Well, I used to listen to Red Foley, I guess. He was the guy that I liked to imitate. Come to find out, I didn't sound like him at all, though. Because one day I was doing a session, and Grady Martin was there, and I said, Grady, I'm going to do this as much like Red as I can. He said,
I've never heard much about your childhood. When you were a little boy, did you want to grow up and be a singer?
I remember when I was a child saying, I was down on the floor, I remember telling my mother, I said, one of these days I'm going to be on the radio. She said, oh, you mean fixed radios? I said, no, I'm going to be on it. I want to sing on it. And that's about all I was for a long time. I picked cotton, hoed, prayed for it to rain, and all those things.
Well, who did you tell this to? Was this your grandmother?
No, my mother.
Your mother, that you were going to be on the radio. I also heard something, I read something that I thought was kind of strange, that you said you wanted to be a radio announcer at one time.
I did, yeah. I did. I wanted to. In fact, I did a little bit of radio announcing down at a place in Captain, South Carolina.
Really?
Yeah, not much, just a few days.
Were you a disc jockey?
Yeah.
What
Can you
happened?
imagine that?
Well, no, I can't. But what happened to your radio career?
I didn't get back into radio till I come to Knoxville.
Well, I know, but I'm talking about this when you were this disc jockey. You said just a few days.
Oh,
Why?
yeah.
Why was it just a few days?
I was doing it for a friend who wanted some time off. It's just a small station. It didn't matter much. All I had to do was spin the records.
Did you say anything between the records?
Very little. Very little.
You see, I can identify with some of that because I came out of high school very shy. And I wanted to be on the radio because, in my opinion, nobody ever listened to me. You know, when I would talk to them, everybody ignored me. So I thought, well, maybe Don felt some of that and wanted to be on the radio for the same reason.
Yeah.
What was it Minnie Pearl once said? Minnie Pearl once said, singers only die one death on stage. Comedians die 1,000. I know once, Don, I was interviewing you, and we had run out of things to talk about. And you told me you had seen the movie Patton 15 times.
Yeah.
So I said, well, let's talk about movies.
Yeah.
So you like movies.
I love movies.
Who's your favorite movie star?
Bela Lugosi.
Well, I was going to get to Dracula. What is it with you and Dracula?
I don't know. It's just something that I like. But I only like him doing it. I don't like nobody else doing Dracula.
Because there have been a lot of imitators.
Yeah. And he had a hard time. I found out in the business. He was, of course, he got on the hard stuff. And I don't mean marijuana or cocaine. I mean heroin. He was on that because he was very shy.
Bela Lugosi also played Frankenstein at one time.
He did one time.
I remember that. I used to go see those things. The Wolf Man and
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
Lon Chaney Jr.
Yeah.
In fact, when I first went to Hollywood, I run into Glenn Strange. Billy, you know Billy Strange.
Yeah.
Well, his uncle was Glenn Strange. He played, you know him better as a bartender on Gunsmoke.
Yeah.
Big guy, wore a
Yeah.
mustache. He played Frankenstein about 2 or 3 times, and I thought was the best Frankenstein that there was. It's Mary Shelley, the woman who wrote. Some writer said if she was alive and she saw him, she'd say that is Frankenstein. He's the one. He done 2 or 3 of them. And he told me a lot of stories. And I wanted to go see Lon Chaney Jr., but Billy said that nobody could get near him at the time, because he had that makeup on, and he drank tequila through a straw, and he wasn't very nice to be around.
Were you and Marty close?
Robin? Not too close.
Did you like him?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought he was a hell of a singer.
Oh, yeah. I think he did. I'd be a legend of my time. I did his show. And, in fact, I wrote him a letter and said, that's the best that's ever been recorded, I think.
Oh, that old Marty Robbins television show. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Tell me about Elvis. There's a story I've heard for years that Elvis,
Yeah.
You know the story?
Yeah.
Elvis went to Chet, wanted to get that rhythm on his records that he heard on your records. And, and allegedly Chet said, well, you better ask Don because he's the one playing it.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So did Elvis ever ask you?
Yeah, he asked Chet. And so Chet asked me, and I said, no. I said, he's got too much going for himself. I mean, I need all I can get.
Well, I thought it was a nice compliment, though.
Yeah, I do, too.
Obviously, he'd been listening very carefully to your records.
Yeah, I never knew Elvis. I had a chance to go over there when he come out of service. I think there's a lot of them from Nashville he invited over there. But I didn't go. The Browns, I don't know. It's quite a few, but I didn't go. I wish now I had went, but I didn't.
Did you like Elvis?
Yeah. I think he was sincere, and I like to hear him sing.
You know, there's another fellow that we haven't mentioned that I would assume you liked because you were label mates, and he was a smooth singer, and that was Jim Reeves.
Yeah.
Did you like Jim?
Yeah. He was all right.
Did you ever? He was just all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever try to emulate after Webb Pierce, did you ever try to copy anybody else's style?
No. Mm-mm. After I got in that studio and done All Lonesome Me,
That's when Don Gibson was born.
that's when I was born. That's right.
Why did you record "The World Is Waiting for the Sunrise" on your back?
Well, that was during that time when I was staying up and all those drinking and pill taking. And one day we was in the session, and when I done a session back then, I'd get them turn all the lights off but a lamp. You know, have it kind of dark.
Mm-hmm.
And something was said about the song, World's Waiting for the Sunrise, and I said, we're going to do that next. Chet said, yep. I said, why don't I lay on my back and do it? And Chet, you know, Chet, that's one thing about Chet. He was for anything, you know. And he said, you really want to sing it on your back? I said, yeah. So that's the way it come about.
Would you put a pallet down on the floor?
No.
You just lay down on the bare floor at RCA?
That's right. That's right. Now, where they took that, I don't know, but it sounded good as the rest of them.
Well, it was a good record.
Oh, it was a good record.
But when I tell people, well, he's lying flat on his back, some people find that rather incredible.
Yeah.
Did you turn the lights down because you were shy or because you were looking for a mood?
I was looking for a mood. Yeah.
Did you record live with the band?
Live with the band.
Live. Was the band there when you recorded?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's the days that
You didn't do it with tracks?
No, I don't. In fact, if I was recording today, I'd still do it that way. I don't believe in adding here and add there and taking out, and you know. Somebody said about some artists recently that the hit song that they had, it took them 16 days to do it. And you know who it is.
No, I'm not. Well, I've heard a lot of stories. Who are you talking about?
George Jones.
Well, what mood was George in?
Well, I imagine he was in the same mood I was in. But you know, when you go in now, you can put a word here and a word there.
You can punch it in.
Punch it in.
It's awfully hard to, I think, to beat the interpretation people do live.
Yeah.
Especially for blues.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems that I want a band around me. A band that gets in it and feels the way I do. And instead of that other stuff.
Who did you like to have on your sessions?
Well, I liked Grady Martin and Chet would play. And the Jordanaires. And Buddy Harmon. Junior Husky on bass. I never played anything without Junior when he was living, because I think he was the best bassman in town.
Okay. Who was the piano player?
Floyd, and then Pig came along.
Okay.
Pig Hargis. I always used Pig.
Did you use Hank Garland before he got hurt?
Yeah.
Isn't he on Old Lonesome Me?
I don't think so. He was on the album Girls Guitar Gibson.
Okay.
That's the one where we got Johnny Smith to come in from Denver. And it was right after that he had the accident.
Yeah.
And I've seen him since then. Oh, it's been 10, 12 years ago, I guess. And he, have you seen him?
I haven't seen him in a long time.
He still, or was, you know, it'd come and go. Just ask him to play a kickoff on something. He may remember it, and then he wants to lay the guitar down and talk about something else. Or
You know, the Nashville musicians, I don't know that this has ever been in a book, and might get some of the old A-Team that's still kicking around to tell me about it. But I don't know for how long, but when Hank Garland got hurt, couldn't play, they loved him so much that they would come and play on sessions and sign his name to the card.
Yeah.
So that he could get the money.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long that went on. Maybe I ought to ask Bobby Moore. Remember Bobby? He used to
Yeah.
play bass.
Yeah.
And
He-
Buddy Harmon. Did Buddy play on your records?
Yeah.
Buddy Harmon played drums. That's what they call the old A-Team.
A-Team.
And Don, I saw the A-Team all together at Owen Bradley's funeral.
Is that
They
right?
even got Grady to come.
No kidding.
Yeah, they were all there that day. Tell me, I got to ask you this. This is more of a fun question for my own amusement. Did you play golf once
Yeah.
with Bobby?
Yeah.
What happened?
Nothing. After 2 or 3 holes, I was ready to give it up.
Well, you see, I'll tell you what the story, how the story goes, that you bought a set of clubs for Bobby and a set of clubs for yourself. You went out to the golf course and you played the first hole, couldn't find the second hole, said to heck with it and went home.
See, that sounds right. That sounds right.
And you've never played since?
No. In fact, I sold the golf clubs. And,
You ever had an embarrassing moment in show business?
every time I went on stage, I mean, I was embarrassed. But after I get out there, you know, after you're out there on the stage, it gets better.
What did you ever run off the stage in the middle of a performance
No.
because somebody heckled you or you got spooked about something?
That could have happened. Yeah, I think that happened during the time the boys were in trouble in Memphis. I was down, I caught a plane to Galveston, Texas, I think it was. And somebody hollered up something at me about the boys in Memphis. And I walked off stage.
Made you mad?
Yeah.
I got to tell you, one of your best albums, and I'm afraid I'm guilty of pilfering the advanced copy from Acuff Rose, and I got it on the air first, was the album Rings of Gold. You did
Oh,
with,
yeah.
You did with Dottie West.
Got it West.
That was a great album.
I thought so.
And there was a nice blend of the two voices. Whose idea was it for you to record with Dottie?
Danny Davis.
Did he produce the album?
Yeah.
And Rings of Gold, I guess, was one of the major new songs for that album.
Yeah.
Because you did some old songs as well. In fact, wasn't that the album of the year?
I think it was.
About 1970?
Yeah, I think so. Thought it was good.
And you recorded with Dottie before Jim Reeves did, didn't you?
No.
Was this after? That's
After.
right. Jim died in 64. Don, do you believe in reincarnation?
Yes, I do.
Tell me about that.
Well, it's just something that when I was a kid, my mother used to take me to church for prayer meeting and everything else. And I just couldn't understand the preachers, you know, back then, the tent preachers hollering and carrying on the way they did and pass the money, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And I said, there's got to be a better way. I mean, that don't sound right to me to scare somebody into getting religion, which they would do. And I started reading. I don't read much now, but I started reading and found out there was such a thing as reincarnation. Boodle O'Brien gave me some books.
Did you read There Is a River?
Yes, sir. Many times. Boodle O'Brien gave me that.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me that and some of Khalil Gibran. And he gave me about 7 or 8 books. And since then I've bought many. Back then, you couldn't talk very much about that. Back then, they'd think you were nuts.
Obviously, you still believe in this.
Yes.
Do you believe you are the reincarnation? Have you ever have any thoughts about who you might have been in a former life?
No, I don't.
Because I have toyed with the idea. You know, basically that it runs against the grain of most religions. But for some reason, I have wondered if I wasn't a sailor
Yeah.
at one time
Yeah.
in a former life.
Deja vu.
Yeah, there's been some things that have happened to me that made me think that.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like you had been someplace before
Yes.
when
Yeah.
you first arrived?
Yes.
Where?
When I was back on drinking and taking pills. I used to ride and ride and ride. And it seemed to me that the more I took the pills, the more I got more of an insight into reincarnation. Now, I don't know, that don't make sense, I guess. But there were things come to me. Even after I got sober and everything, it was, to me, that's the only way I can see it happening. I mean, I can't believe that you're here only one time and then you're gone. Everything proves otherwise. Everything is living now. The trees, they die and come back. You can find it everywhere. I hadn't had this asked me much, and I haven't read much on reincarnation lately. But I don't have to read it to believe. I do believe.
Don, I have a note about something happened to you the day you arrived in Sydney, Australia. Does that ring any bells?
Yeah, well, there was a thing that happened in Australia. I can't remember what town it was. It seemed like it was Melbourne, where this guy was asking the wrong questions and asked me if I was a millionaire, and I just said, yeah. And he said, well, what are you doing over here for? And I began to get very perturbed, upset, and he kept on asking things, and I just laid the guitar down and started for him. But they got him stopped. I think maybe I'd have come out of it all right, though.
You didn't like his style?
No.
Don, I know you had a lot of problems at one time with drugs. What did you take besides the pills?
That's all. I never did get into cocaine or marijuana. Never did.
How long did you live in Canada?
I lived up there about 6 months.
Why?
Well, I was going with a woman up there that lived up there, and she couldn't get a visa at that time. And so I lived there in Windsor, across the river from Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived there in that little motel there.
Were you married to this woman?
No,
He later married her.
Oh, you later married
I
her.
later married her.
Is
Yeah.
she the one that tried to hit Chet Atkins?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
She was bad on stuff too.
I know. Who was it? Maxine Brown and Bonnie wanted to take her on or something like that. I've heard that story.
Yeah, I don't know about that story. I know that did happen.
Obviously, she wasn't helping you a whole lot.
No. Oh, no.
Don, do you still like soap operas?
No, I don't watch them anymore.
You used to.
I used to, yeah.
What do you watch on television?
Well, I don't turn the television on until about 5 o'clock, and I start watching the news, then on the rest of the night.
See, I'm trying to figure out what turns you on, what makes you tick.
Yeah, I'd like to know that myself.
How many songs have you written that have been recorded, Don? My figure is 200.
I guess that'd be
Is that about right?
That's about right.
1973, you were inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Did you make a speech?
No. They mailed me that hand.
Oh, did they? Yeah. You didn't go.
No.
Why not?
I don't go to none of these things.
Huh?
I don't care anything about none of these things.
If they put you in the Country Music Hall of Fame, would you show up?
She asked me that not long ago, and I said, I don't know. I have my doubts.
It'd be a great honor. I think it'll happen.
Well, I've been out there on it for about 8 years.
I mean, nominated.
Yeah, I've been nominated.
The last 9, 10 years.
Well, I know that Minnie Pearl was nominated 5 years in a row. And sometimes, because the process is so slow, it just takes forever. Chet once said, he told Owen Bradley got nominated. He said, now, Owen, tell them you're sick. He said, if you tell them you're sick, they'll put you in.
Yeah.
You're really a private person, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
You ever go to a party?
No.
You don't like it.
No.
Why not?
I don't know what to do with myself. I mean, I don't drink no more. I don't take no pills no more.
Born April 3rd, 1928, Shelby, North Carolina. And I recall once we talked about, they had a big day for you at Shelby, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Don Gibson Day.
Yeah.
Is that fun?
No, it wasn't fun at all.
Huh? You didn't like it?
No,
Did you ride in the parade?
no.
Why not?
I just told them I wouldn't do that. I'd done the other. I said I won't ride no parade.
They had a car in the parade with your name on it, didn't they?
Yeah.
And you didn't ride in it.
No.
I've been over this with you before. You told me, you said, I didn't want all them people looking at me.
Yeah.
What do you do every day? I mean, what kind of, you told me you don't go out on the road anymore.
No.
So what do you do? What kind of lifestyle do you have?
Not much. I just get up and take my bath, eat my breakfast, listen to music. I listen to easy listening music. It's on the satellite network.
Do you are there a number of pop singers that are your favorites? Do you like Sinatra?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Well, Ray Charles.
Well, I can see why.
Yeah.
No, I like Ray Charles myself. How did you meet Bobby?
I met her, I really met her in Charlotte, North Carolina. She'd come to my concerts down there. I didn't go with her until 1967. I broke my leg in Knoxville, and I decided to go home to recuperate. While I was there, Bobby's mother brought Bobby down, and I liked what I saw, and I asked her, did she care anything about show business? And she said, I've always had a go bug. I said, well, you go with me, you'll be going buggy. So she started doing the things that I used to have to do, like make reservations, and right now I'd be lost without her if I had to. Not just reservations, but everything. She takes care of tax, takes care of sending out pictures.
She takes care of you, doesn't she?
Yeah.
That's the number one thing about it.
Yeah, she does.
In fact, she may be the best thing that ever happened to you.
She is. She is. I don't know what I'd do without her.
Been married 32 years.
32 years.
When's your anniversary?
We just passed it, didn't we? January. Oh,
I was getting ready to ask, when's her birthday?
I don't know, January or February.
See, that's not a trick question. In my estimation, there are two dates you have to remember. That's your wedding anniversary
Yeah.
and her birthday.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, I've known Don a long time, and from what I have observed, she really saved your life.
That's right. I've been gone since I've been for her.
She got you off of the pills
Yeah.
and the booze
Yeah.
and straightened out.
That's right. I just dread the things that I used to do, and the things that I have wrong with me now. I dread that for her because I caused them. This pain, that pain coming up. And once I asked Dick Clark what it was like getting older, he said more aches and more pains.
What was it, Jimmy Stewart, the actor? He said after 70, it's just patch, patch, patch.
Yeah.
The one thing I didn't ask you was how you met Chet.
Oh, I met Chet over in Knoxville.
Apparently, somewhere along the way, you did cement a great friendship with Chet.
Yeah.
Because Chet has done nothing but rave about you for all these years.
Yeah, I know it.
He thinks you're one of the best he ever produced.
Well, I appreciate that. I call him every once in a while. In fact, I called him about 2 weeks ago. He told me he's having trouble walking,
He is.
and
You know, he fell and broke his hip,
Yeah.
last year? Early last year? Grandpa Jones was in the hospital at the same time, right before Grandpa died.
Oh, that's
And
right.
Chet broke his hip in 5 places.
is that right?
He's just walking, and he lost his balance. And I never have understood how you could fall just walking and break your hip in 5 places. But he did. When was the last date you played?
I was in Cork, Ireland.
You don't miss it at all, do you?
No,
You're kind of glad it's gone, aren't you?
I am.